who I am today, I help entrepreneurs who are geniuses on the rise and on the climb in the discovery of their greatness, the mastery of their significance. And what I do is I work with them inside of their calling, whether that's to create the latest widget or gadget, the Snuggie, the blanket with the Velcro on it, Thigh Master, the three-way poncho, whatever that could be, or it could be a product, a program or a service that they do as a coach, a speaker. They could be a technician, a hairstylist wanting to figure out how do I build more revenue lines to make my salon more profitable? How do I expand? How do I franchise? You know, at the end of the day, people call me when they want to accelerate their profit and they want to fix their money. And so where I am today came as a direct result of how I grew up. I grew up with a single mom. My dad was in prison, and my mom had to hustle, and she had no good relationship with money. My mother's relationship with money was there isn't enough, ain't going to be enough, and there's more months than there is money. And my mom used to tell us when we would say, Mom, I need money to do that, she would say, well, go out in the backyard and see if you can find some. And so she would send us on this, you know, it took us forever to realize, wait a minute, there's no money there. You know, there's no money tree outside. We didn't get it when we were kids, but we finally got, wait a minute, she's telling us ain't no money. So we grew up with an association, Steve, that money was not only non-existent, it was so hard to come by, and it was a struggle to get it because my mother worked 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs. And I heard my mother, you know, at times begging my father on the phone, can you help us? And he either didn't have it or just chose not to be the stand as a man that he could have been for us to support us in our growth and in our lives. And so I grew up seeing a mother who said, you know what, I can't wait for somebody to give me permission to provide for my children. I can't wait for someone to hand me something. I've got to find my big girl panties, and I've got to get myself out there. And so my mother hustled from paycheck to paycheck, from job to job, from thing to thing, to make sure that she brought in income for us that would sustain us, that would keep the lights on. And so I learned a very valuable concept of hard, of risking it all to gain it all, of not letting my circumstances define me and rising above the impossible and finding a way, Steve, that my spirit could be unbreakable despite the circumstantial evidence that said you should break, you should collapse, you should fall, you should be exhausted, you should be overwhelmed, you should be losing your mind, because that's how it should have been for my mother, but it wasn't what she chose. So the very valuable lesson that my mother taught me was work hard, lean in, be unapologetic about who you are, and when you create a circumstance that you don't know how to work yourself out of, take your time. And how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. Go piece by piece, layer by layer. So I learned that the difficulty in what I learned is that when I got older, I created a reality that looked like my mother's. Now, I didn't, marry a man that was a felon. I didn't have children. I didn't do that, but I created a reality of struggle. I created a relationship with money that said there's more months than there is money, which means I get to day 15 and I'm out of money, but I'm not going to get paid again until the 31st. What is a girl to do? So I created that struggle in that relationship. I'm sure many listeners can relate to that, and I had to begin to learn how to break agreement with what no longer served me. What served me about the way my mother raised me was that she taught me to be independent. She taught me to be fierce. She taught me to not wait for permission. She taught me to stand on my own. But she also taught me how to struggle, how to have fear, how to really have this negative, disassociated way of how I managed and held on to and really had money where it was a bowl with holes that just leaked.